Police are searching for the thieves who stole 8 pieces of, quote, royal jewelry from France's Louvre Museum, including a tiara worn by the wife of Napoleon III. It happened during broad daylight while tourists wandered nearby. The robbers are still at large. For more on this weekend's heist, let's bring in Robert Wittman. He's this former senior investigator and founder of the FBI's National Art Crime Team. Robert, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Lindsay. It's great to be here.
This heist happened in just 7 minutes. How does that happen?
Well, that's usually what happens in these types of heists, where they're done in broad daylight like that, where people are going up a ladder and breaking into a window. They're going to have to get in and out very quickly, because if they don't, they're going to get caught. In this case, when I first heard about it on Sunday morning, I thought it was probably it must have been a very professional job and a well thought out and surveilled job. But learning more about it, they left a lot of forensic evidence that's going to be looked at very closely. And that's not a good thing if you're a criminal, because you don't want to leave all that evidence behind.
And what does this say about security at the Louvre?
Well, there wasn't any breaches of security. I mean, people blame the museum for that and that sort of thing. There's only so much you can do. I mean, these guys were dressed as construction workers. They were doing it in broad daylight, which was, it was audacious on a Sunday morning when the museum was open and there were people in it. The guards did respond, but they were pushed back and they were threatened by the thieves. So they're taught not to lose life. I mean, property is property, but you don't want to lose life. And that's it's most important. Secondly, the alarms did go off. They were alerted, and these guys were brazen enough to do what they did, steal the 8 pieces of jewelry and run out. And, when that happens, the police can only get there so quickly. And at that point, they had already been set up to get away on their mopeds. And they drove mopeds because that's how you get through the traffic in downtown Paris, with the narrow streets. So really, the museum security was up to par. It's just a case of if someone wants to do this, they can do it.
If you had to guess what their motivations will be now, do you think that these jewels will end up in the home of a private collector? Do you think they'll split up the gems and sell them?
Well, I think the last, the very last thing that could happen would be that these would end up in the home of a private collector, because that's an old, fallacy or fantasy that people have about stolen art being in some guy's, basement. That was started back in 1962 with the movie Dr. No. And in that movie, James Bond sees a painting that had been stolen the year before from a museum in London, and he looks at it like, oh, I wondered where that went. And ever since then, people have thought that there's this Dr. No hiding all this stolen art, but it's not true. I've never seen that in 35 years of investigations.
If they split it up, do you think there's still, I know you said they left behind a lot of forensic evidence. Do you think that there's still a way to catch them?
Oh, yeah. The French police in Paris have a brigade, a squad that they call the BRB, and it's the Brigade Against Bandits. And these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. They've been around for quite a while. I worked with them when I was at the FBI. And quite honestly, they have informants all through the city, all through the south of France. So sooner or later, there's 4 people involved in this theft. These guys are going to talk to somebody, and that information is going to come through. And once that lead comes in, it'll crack the case.
All right, Robert Wittman, thank you for your time.